A lot gets said about the Australian agricultural sector and in particular horticulture being the boom times over the next 15 to 20 years. But I guess many of us in this room are at times frustrated by the lack of investment, the lack of consumer insights, the lack of consumer uptake. And today we just wanted to share with you what we believe is one of the success stories there for Australian horticulture. The largest single horticultural startup investment in Australia's history, delivered on time in full, importantly delivered in a manner that meets a new consumer needs state. Tomatoes are a top 10 grocery item in produce, and delivering them all year round gives consumers what they need and gives producers a better income stream. So we might, rather than be talking anymore, we have got a short clip about the Sundrop Coles partnership.
This is just the beginning of a 10-year partnership, and already it's bearing fruit. Sundrop Farms built this state-of-the-art greenhouse after signing a landmark supply agreement with Coles in 2014. Combining innovation with sustainable agriculture, this 20-hectare facility can grow delicious truss tomatoes all year round.
We have our own solar power system on site, our own desalination system on site, and it's a very green facility, and we're doing agriculture in a part of the world where you normally wouldn't find tomatoes being grown.
The remote location of Port Augusta, South Australia, was chosen as home to the greenhouse because the sun shines here almost every day of the year.
We capture the sun's heat on about 23,000 mirrors, and we project all that sun's heat onto one focal point. It really powers the entire facility here.
Coles customers have become part of the journey, with Sundrop tomatoes now available in stores.
This is an amazing milestone for the Sundrop partnership for Coles and for our customers. It's been 4 years in the making, and to finally have Sundrop tomatoes on our shelves is just an amazing achievement.
The flavour is just like, you know, when you grow your own homegrown tomatoes, and you get the flavour instantly.
There's a lot of tomatoes these days seem to lack a lot of flavour, but that's got the flavour in.
The project has also provided a boost to the local economy. Sundrop Farms has recruited more than 130 workers and will create around 200 additional farm jobs in peak times.
We're absolutely delighted to finally get to the point of producing tomatoes and delivering under our contract to Coles, and this is really the beginning of our partnership, so very exciting.
What will happen now is we'll have a lot more truss tomatoes for our customers. We'll be able to promote them more frequently, particularly in the winter time, so customers will have better value every day at Coles.
I'm always looking for great prices and juicy tomatoes, so being able to get all of that at the same time would be amazing all year round.
So we've received a number of questions over the last few weeks since we took receipt of the very first tomatoes in store, and I'm going to start with a few questions of Steve, and then we'll open up to the floor if you have any questions around the partnership, the technology, and what it may mean to Australian horticulture. Steve, to deliver such a project, $160 million project, on time, slightly under budget, and have produce in stores, how does that feel to have gone through that massive effort?
Yeah, we're really proud of where we're at. There's an absolute sense of excitement within the business, and there is with most new businesses, as you'd imagine. So, but I guess the underlying principle is really about the responsibility and the responsibility of the contract, and what potentially this looks like as a model for the agricultural industry. Globally, it sort of is recognised as integrating a lot of technologies to reduce overheads and operating costs in a fashion that is fairly new and fairly different in a new paradigm. But the 10-year relationship is what we understand in global terms is the largest contract of its and the largest length of its sort. So there is a responsibility that underlies with that to demonstrate how that can look longer term. And
importantly, Steve, what were the building a state-of-the-art facility in the middle of a desert? Some people may say you're mad. You didn't have water, so you had to have a desal plant. didn't have energy, so they had to have a solar system. But importantly, what were the learnings in the project around convincing stakeholders that it was viable? This was a startup. If somebody had said to anyone in this room, yeah, we are building a $160 million facility to grow tomatoes in a desert without a perceived right to win, how did you overcome those stakeholder challenges and what were the learnings?
So a lot of the technology that's been brought together for this project is all proven technology. How it's brought together is what's unique about Sundrop as a business. So the solar technology is proven technology, the desal technology is proven technology, the greenhouse technology. They're all best in class for what they are, and they're brought together in a systematic fashion that ensures that they're maximised and that we reduce our ongoing costs. But it comes down to some really basic things too. I guess new business in a new environment, it's a highly industrialised environment being what is an iron manufacturing vicinity. So the real issues around commissioning, they haven't been so drastic for the business, but more so the large fleet of people and the new people and a shift of culture, moving them into a horticulture sector, which is a completely different paradigm to what they might have been used to in steel production or large-scale manufacturing. So we've had to shift a bit of the mindset in that respect. We've had to educate them quickly to get them up to speed and up to pace. And given that we've brought on a lot of hectares all at the same time and what effectively is 150 staff all in one flush, brings all its challenges that you would expect. I guess we've had to put some tools in place to really educate an education process for all our staff and bring them up to speed very quickly. And then just some good tools for measuring and managing those people and just making sure that they're improving daily.
Now, just on the technology, you used to be a spud man. It's one thing to have, state-of-the-art facility, but what technology could you recommend can be applied to other parts of the sector, particularly smaller operators?
So the basics are still the basics. I would say that no matter the scale of the business, the need for technology and the drives within it don't really change too dramatically. What we've done is we've looked at what are our largest overheads and largest operating costs as a business, and so energy consumption is one. So heating and cooling for the facility is a big cost. How do we go about stripping out some of those large costs in a fashion that's sustainable as well? So that's hence the solar field provides both heat and electricity generation. The desalination takes out those costs as well. So it's about innovating around those parts and then having the best process, I guess, in place. And then it's all the other aspects. So you divide a business into what are all the moving parts, so HR and innovation, production facilities, market development, consumer insights, those sorts of parts. And they're no different from a large-scale business to a smaller-scale business. So it's about understanding what are the cost drivers, reducing those, improving your revenue base by some innovation around that as well. So you become a more sustainable, profitable business in the longer term. And then, your agronomy is very, very important, I guess, and that's relevant for everybody here too. So large and small businesses, how do we objectively measure our agronomy and our performance and then translate that into some learning and keep improving as a business? And that, whether we have a 5-hectare block or whether we had a 500-hectare block, wouldn't change. So it's something that I think goes across large and small businesses.
And from a Coles perspective, it's been an exciting journey for us where we are learning that if we can provide a long-term contract of mutuality, that if you can provide the right technology and the right consumer needs states, then collectively we can identify the right capital partner who has patient capital to invest in a project. And for us, that's it's been again a watershed moment for the Coles executive as we look at our future engagement in prime fresh produce and the demand drivers in the marketplace. The passion you've shown for Australian agriculture, Steve, has been throughout your career. Can you maybe just, what do you see as the next 10 years as the opportunities, and what do we need to do to maximise those?
Well, I say that horticulture and has a very bright future, and I think that it's probably starting to come into its own now. Historically, it hasn't been a very attractive industry for young professionals to come into, and we haven't seen that. So we haven't seen an influx previously. But as we're starting to see more educated young professionals making their way into it, they're lifting the standard. We're Australia, as it's positioned, has a great base that can supply into the rest of the world. Our growth and our scope for growth is large as an as an industry and as a country. So there's plenty of growth potential that sits in there. We see that when you look at all the metrics of each and every category, Australia grows faster than anywhere else in the world. We have supermarkets that potentially can have upside, and if we're listening to what Coles are saying in this instance, there's opportunity for new partnerships and new development there as well. So there's opportunity around those sorts of things. I think investment attraction is a large opportunity as well. So, the method that we've used to reduce our costs and operating costs, with the right investment behind a business, there's some opportunity to bring in some capital that can help drive down those costs. Australia ranks very highly in cost of production globally, so there must be some opportunity around those aspects. We've been able to demonstrate it at Sundrop. And I think the business and the ability to vertically integrate your business, and that's everything from genetics through to marketing, and seeing that process through is really important as well. So there's plenty of upside. There's plenty of open markets. We have Asia on our back doorstep, and that's talked about but rarely capitalised on in a systematic process. So there's opportunity around those parts as well. But Australia, as I would see, has got a real opportunity, mostly with its human capital. I think bringing the right sort of people in that can help develop your business and help drive it to that next tier, I think is really the largest opportunity.
Now, they were the priming questions that we had from the last couple of weeks in the meeting we've done. So we're open to the floor now to answer anything from a Coles or Sundrop perspective.
Steve,
yes.
What was the break-even cost on, if it's not confidential, what was the break-even cost on the facility? Time, not so much cost, I mean time. What was it, 10 years before you broke it even?
Yeah, I think that's probably a bit of a confidential one. You're really looking within a 10-year period, yes, but the exacts of that I probably would leave off the table for today. 10 years. Yes.
Yeah, certainly. If you come to us and say, look, we've got a product here where we know there's consumer demand for it, we want to extend the season or the volume, we believe we've got the right technology matrix to make us competitive, we may need a capital support, great, let's have that conversation together, and you bundle those 3 or 4 elements together with a long-term contract, it makes it quite a Loctite, de-risk value proposition for all parties. It's a great question, and we're by no means looking at marginalising small producers. We believe that there is plenty of opportunity in the fresh food produce section for consumer demand to allow for many players. What we've seen when you look at bananas at the moment, massive uptake by consumers and acceptance in bananas. Avocados, again, there's some amazing stats coming out now that 1 in 3 cafe purchases for breakfast involve an avocado. We believe the fresh section is going to grow rapidly. Yep, there is the need for us to supply all year round truss tomatoes, but there's also the need for us to support local growers in our state-by-state purchasing arrangements.
I guess the tonnage is a Coles question, but as far as Sundrop, we're in the vicinity of sort of 12 to 15,000 tonnes per year.
And probably got time for one more question.
Yes, the company has plans to expand, so we've got our eyes open to opportunity out there. We have operations in Europe and also North America as well. So the company's sort of testing not just here within Australia but also globally as well. So, but there would be intention to look towards Australia as well. Yes.
It has a percentage of seeds. Sorry, Sundrop's business, you're saying?
Yes, savings are about 30%, around that sort of vicinity.
And any last questions? Thank you very much for your time, and we'll be opening up the facility in the future for some case studies. So I mean, again, there's a lot of learnings there for I think the whole broader sector, and as appropriate, without breaching confidentiality, we'd love to share them.
Thank you. Please join me in thanking Simon and Steve, and all the best.